What is the Caring Place? The Caring Place is a ministry of the Salvation Army. It is a one-stop shop for all the kinds of services that people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness would require in their day-to-day lives.
They decided at the hospital to send me here. That's how I found out about it. I'd been in hospital for quite a while, and I was waiting for treatment, and I stayed here a month and a half before I got into treatment, and that's how I found out about it, through the hospital. I knew it was always here, but I'd never been here before.
I don't know what else to say. I came to this place pretty much when I was in the worst shape ever. I was 129 pounds when I came here.
It seems like it was about 10 years ago we noticed that there were a lot of requests coming in for people to stay. Do you have anywhere I can stay? We're living in our car. Do you have anywhere we can stay? We're living on our boat and it's getting cold for the winter. I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was a young pregnant woman in her early 20s towing a 2.5, 3-year-old along beside her, and really with child, probably going to give birth within the month, and said, I have nowhere to stay. I have nowhere to go. And can you put me up somewhere? We had no money in the budget. We had a deficit budget and a debt to our head office, who were supporting us on a shoestring budget. And we were struggling to pay our rent, and we were offering at that time just a lunch program during the week. It was just, I went home that night and I cried because I couldn't even take her home. I have such a large family, and if I'd had one extra spot to put her in my house, I would have brought her home with me. And that just sort of really kick-started a real desperate effort to find a way to help people locally.
I got tangled up with drugs, cocaine and heroin. Heroin being my later drug. Took me to a place where I have nothing. Literally left inside of me, war, material things left. And in November I decided that it was time for me to leave the world. Through the drugs, I had no drugs left. And I tried to commit suicide. And the balcony broke. And I was in the hospital with 2 broken legs. I didn't have anything left except my spirit, which I'd forgotten about because of the material things I had at one time. Come to know a Lord and Savior that I'd forgotten about. And it was pretty overwhelming when I actually realized that He was still there and waiting for me. So if they've done anything for me, it's brought me back to what I used to know.
I started smoking when I was about 10 years old. Started smoking marijuana when I was about 11 or 12. And I started doing ecstasy, acid, mushrooms when I was about 13 or 14. A couple months after I was 14 years old, I tried meth for the first time. It just went downhill from there. So once I hit 19, I started staying here, started getting help, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I've actually grown quite accustomed to this place because they have good food and they're wonderful people.
People usually are very successful at re-entering society in a healthier way and staying that way. Our success rate is likely between 70 to 80%. Of people who come in and stay with the program.
I'm 8 months clean, and I have a roof over my head and a girlfriend that I love dearly, and I'm happy now. I highly recommend it to people who are in a great time of need.
The Caring Place is a very unique service, and it is a privilege to be able to be a part of it. Our goal was to open a place where people could come and feel safe and warm and cared for, and that it would become a place of healing in our community. And we achieved that.